Hey everybody, my name is Sergeant Mumford. I'm with the Oklahoma Army National Guard, and I'm here to talk to you about resiliency. So when we say the word resilient, what am I talking about? The Army had some issues with soldiers coming back from war and stuff like that and reintegrating into normal everyday life in society. And so we came up with this program with Penn University where we teach life skills to people, coping mechanisms, things like that, because we are going to have to deal with adversity in our life. All of us are going to have to. And so this is just going to teach us how to deal with that adversity. And when we talk about resiliency, what we like to do is we like to use an image, right? So we have a tennis ball and an egg. And if I throw a tennis ball against that wall, it's going to bounce back, right? If I throw an egg against that wall, it's just going to splat and go everywhere. So we want to be tennis balls, not eggs. When life knocks us down, we want to be able to get back up and get on our feet. All right, and so some critical things that we're going to need to know in order to be able to do this is how our thoughts, emotions, and consequences work with each other, right? Usually when I ask this, I have a classroom and things like that, and so I'll ask the class, what do you think? Do you think that the way you feel changes the way that you think, or the way that you think changes the way that you feel? And in this circumstance, we're going to talk about as soon as something happens to you, a life event happens, you get in a car wreck, you're driving down the road, something happens, what's that first thing that happens? Is it an emotion that comes up, or is it a thought? And what Penn University found when they did the study was that our initial thought right after something happens changes our reactions and consequences, right? Our emotional reactions and then our consequences. And I have a great example for it. You're driving down the road and you're having a good time, you're hanging out with all your friends, and then all of a sudden a big truck just cuts you off out of nowhere. What's your first thought? Most people's first thought is, screw that guy, I can't believe they did that to me, they suck, they're stupid, I don't like them, and a bunch of bad words and expletives that I can't say on this video, right? But there's usually one or two people that have a different reaction to it, right? So that thought is, that person did something wrong to me, and it elicits the emotion anger, right? And some people have a different reaction though. They get cut off and they get scared, right? Or if you're driving with your mom, what does she do? She puts the arm out, right? To stop you. You already have a seatbelt on, she's not gonna do anything extra, but that's her baby next to her, so she's gonna put her arm out there and protect you, right? And mom's initial thought is, I have to protect my family, and then her emotional response is fear rather than anger, and she becomes protective, right? So let's talk about how anger and fear work in these scenarios. Anger makes us do what? Makes us drive worse. It makes us cut them off back, like get them back. You can drive next to them and flip them off, things like that. You know, it doesn't make you drive better, right? But that fear, that little bit of fear while you're driving and putting that arm and protecting people around you, maybe you drive a little slower, you're more protective, that is gonna make you drive a little bit better. All right. And so when we talk about our emotions, I don't want anybody to think about their emotions as good or bad, right? Usually we're taught growing up that there's good emotions that we want to have. I want to feel happy, excited, adventurous. I want to feel joy and love and all these things. And these are good feelings to have. And then there's bad feelings to have where you feel angry, sad, depressed, you know, things like that. I don't want any of you to think about your emotions as either good or bad anymore. I want you to start thinking about them as productive or counterproductive. Because as human beings, we need the full range of our emotions to deal with everyday life, right? And when we look in the car scenario, right, when I ask people good or bad, they usually put fear and anger in the bad category. But if we look at our driving scenario, fear was a productive emotion to have because it made us drive better, and anger was a counterproductive emotion to have because it made us drive worse. That works with every single one of your emotions. Your grandma that you love just died, and if you're pretending to be happy and excited and stuff like that, is that appropriate? No, because you have to go through the grieving process. You have to be angry and depressed and all those things. Those are natural for that. All right, so we want to make sure that our emotions line up with the results that we want. And knowing that my initial thought after something happens changes my emotional response and my consequence or my action that I take, we can start changing our interactions through daily life to get better results by changing our thinking. So I used to be that guy that got cut off and had to cut somebody back off or had to go flip them off or whatever it is that you have to do to feel good about being angry, right? So instead what I do is every time that I get that triggering experience, I say to myself, they're not paying attention, you need to drive better. And when I say that to myself, I get a little bit of that fear, that protectiveness, right? And I slow down and maybe look around a little bit more and I drive a little bit better. Because I can't control their bad driving, I can only control me. And so that's how I've changed from that unproductive anger and emotional response to a more productive fear, protecting the people within my car, my own car, better response. And it's had better results as well. So that is kind of like the action, thought, consequence model. It helps us deal with everyday life. And it's what I like to start with because it makes us start thinking about our emotions a lot differently and thinking about how we can change the game to get the emotional responses that we want to get. The next thing I want to talk about is coronavirus, right? Everybody's freaking out right now about coronavirus, okay? People deal with it different ways. I'm in the military. We spend years at a time sitting on some little base in the middle of nowhere, not allowed to go anywhere unless you're going out on mission. So this is like old hat for us, right? I'm dealing with it really well. The other people living in my household are not dealing with it so well. It's hard to stay in. It's hard to think of things to do. It's hard to not freak out and worry about your family members that you can't be in contact with. So when we do that, when we can only think about these terrible things and not take any productive action, I call that catastrophizing, all right? And that's what Resiliency calls it too. Catastrophizing is when you're stuck in a thought pattern and you can't get past it, right? So there's three ways that people generally think, and I'm going to say this out loud for the example, but usually people are doing this in their head when they catastrophize, right? The first thing is they start saying the same mantra over and over again. So the one I like to use is failing a test, right? Because I do a lot of work in schools. So, oh my God, I failed this test. My parents are going to kill me because I failed this test, and my parents are going to kill me because I failed this test, and my parents are going to kill me because I failed this test, right? So I'm not doing anything productive. I'm just freaking out about how my parents are going to kill me because I got an F on this test that's really important, right? The next one we'll do is circling, where I say like a group of things that go back on each other. So I failed this test. Oh my God, I'm not going to get in the school I want to, and I'm going to wind up working some dead-end job because I failed this test and I'm not going to get in the school I wanted to, and I'm going to work some dead-end job because I didn't get in the school I wanted to because I failed this test, right? I'm saying like 2 or 3 things over and over again. They're circling back on each other, still not doing anything productive. And then my personal favorite is driving the bus off the cliff, right? This is where you take it to the worst possible scenario that could ever probably not happen, right? So I go, oh my God, I failed this test. I'm going to get kicked out of school. My parents are going to kick me out of the house, and I'm going to be fighting bums for shopping carts, right? You're not going to become a bum fighting people for shopping carts just because you failed a test, right? But that's when our brain goes to that worst case scenario, okay? So a lot of times people go to that worst case scenario anyways and then have to get past that. We're going to work on not getting there. Now I have an example where I'm going to write on this board about how to deal with it when you're catastrophizing, but you can also do this in your head really quickly for something that's not such a big deal. So coronavirus is a huge deal right now. Everybody's dealing with it. So the first thing, if I had a whole class here, I would ask people to tell me what are all the negatives. We're going to get the negatives out first. Why are we going to do that? Because that's what I'm catastrophizing about right now. I'm not losing my mind over all the good things that are happening to me. No, I'm losing my mind over all the negative things that are going to happen to me. All right? And then I have positives over here. Positives of coronavirus. Here's the deal. A lot of times when bad things happen to us, there's 2 types of people. The type of people that think of only the negative stuff that's going to happen to them, and then the super positive people that can't come to reality on the other side because they're only thinking about, oh yeah, it'll be fine, it'll be okay, I don't have to worry about it, right? There's those 2 types of people. So we want to get out all the ridiculous negative stuff and all the ridiculous positive stuff that we think is going on, right? So we can figure out what's most likely going to happen, and then when we figure out what's most likely going to happen, we act on that, right? So we're gonna do this like I'm a high school teenager, right? Negatives that are gonna happen, right? My senior year is over. My handwriting's terrible, but I'm churching it up for you guys. All right, so my senior year is over. A lot of you seniors out there are going through that right now, okay? We don't really know what's going on, but we're gonna keep going through the negative thoughts that we have. No prom. That's a big one for seniors right now, right? No graduation. What about college, right? Because am I going to still get to go to college? I don't know. I think maybe, I don't know. We're still going through our negatives, all right? What are some other negatives that I have to hang out with my brother and sister? I'm trapped here with my family. Listen, we all love our families, right? But you're a teenager. You don't want to hang out with mom and dad. You want to go hang out with your friends. You want to do stuff with your peer group. That's how you feel. That's how most teenagers feel about it. That's okay. Also, adults are still trapped with their family, right? You love your family, but too much of a good thing can still be a bad thing, right? All right, what else are some negatives that we can think of? Lose my job, right? If you're not essential, you could be losing your job right now. What else can happen to me? Oh yeah, my girlfriend dumps me because of Corona, right? We'll put boyfriend on there too, right? Whatever, whichever one. My girlfriend, boyfriend dumps me. All right. And then maybe we get into something crazy like can't afford the house and we're homeless, right? Probably becoming homeless, or like grandma or G-Pa gets the virus. Right? So those are pretty much our worst case scenarios, right? Somebody that we know and love gets the virus and they get hurt or killed or something like that. Or they're, fighting for their lives in the hospital and I can't even go there right now, right? Lots of negatives. But what are some positives that we can take from coronavirus? We got all these negatives out. What are some positives? Closer with family, right? It kind of sucks to be stuck with people, but also, I don't know about how your families are, but my family has been playing board games and doing more stuff together. So we're becoming closer as a family, right? Maybe we don't take our lives for granted, right? So let's put appreciate. Appreciate more the things that we got to do every day that we can't do right now because we're stuck, right? We can feel gratitude for the way that that life has been working and stuff like that, okay? We have extra time for hobbies, right? Always wanted to learn Spanish, or I play the cajon and not as well as I'd like to. So this is my time to drive my family nuts by banging on a drum all day. Extra time for hobbies. Whatever it is that you think that can be positives about this, all right? Maybe things get cleared up and I still get some sort of prom and graduation, right? And for those of you that are procrastinating right now, this is the perfect time to fill out your FAFSA, apply to more colleges, do things like that you're dragging your feet on because you got nothing else to do. So you might as well do it. Give mom and dad's tax returns. If they've been dodging you for a bit, now they're in the house with you. You can nail them down and get those tax returns and get that FAFSA done so you can apply to more colleges, stuff like that, all right? So we've got our positives and our negatives. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna eliminate everything we don't have control over. Why do we do that? Because stressing out about things I don't have control over is just gonna create more stress for me because I can't do anything about them, All right, there's always going to be things in life that we don't have control over. I can't freak out about those. I have to focus on the things that I have control over and take appropriate action towards them. All right, so senior year is over. Do I have any control over whether my senior year is over? Nope, cross it out. Do I have any control over whether there's no prom? Nope. Do I have any control over no graduation? Nope. All right, do I have control over my college? Absolutely. Do I have control over whether being trapped with my family is a bad thing or a good thing? Absolutely. All right. Do I have control over whether I lose my job? Probably not. All right. Do I have control over whether my boyfriend or girlfriend dumps me because of Corona? No, I don't. All right. Do I have control over whether I'm homeless or not? I don't know. Probably your parents do. You don't have direct control over that. And then grandma and grandpa get Corona. Do I have any control over that? No, I don't. All right. Look at that. I have eliminated so much stuff that I was worried about that I don't need to worry about because there's nothing I can do about it, right? And then, do I have control over whether I get closer with my family? Absolutely. Do I have control over whether I appreciate more? Absolutely. Do I have control over whether there's extra time for my hobbies? Mm-hmm. And then, do I still get a prom or graduation anyways? Do I have control over that? No, you don't. So don't even worry about it, all right? So we eliminated our positives and negatives. Usually there's more positives that we can have control over in these situations than negatives, which is kind of nice, all right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna make a plan of action or like think of what I can take action on. So what about college? Right? I can make sure my FAFSA is done. I can make sure that I've applied to all the colleges. I can research my college some more that I want to go to and think about, do they have the degree plans that I want? Do they have the sports that I like? Things like that, or I want to compete at. Trapped with your family. These two are linked, right? Listen, your family's going to get annoying, right? So maybe have a rule with the family that if anybody's getting annoyed, I get to go take a time out somewhere and everybody leaves me alone for a certain amount of time, right? On the other hand, closer with family, what are some activities that we enjoy doing together? Let's do them, all right? Let's go for a walk, take the dog, right? Let's play a board game, things like that. Appreciate more. Man, we take so much for granted, getting to go to the movies, getting to go to school and see our friends, just getting to hang out. Different activities that we like to do, going to concerts, things like that. So maybe appreciate the stuff that you have in your life that you get to do more. And then extra time for my hobby. Y'all, you have plenty of time right now. Think about something that you can do that you have control over that you can get better at, right? Get better at playing an instrument. Get better at speaking a foreign language. Figure maybe video games, all right? You can do that as a job now. Get better at your video games so you can go try and earn money doing that. Whatever it is, take that action. So that is how you deal with catastrophizing, all right? There's a little bit more to it, but I'm just making a short video for you guys today. And then finally, we're gonna end with my favorite thing that I wanna talk about, and that's hunt the good stuff, all right? So hunt the good stuff is really important for us in our society. We tend to have a negativity bias. Everybody has it built within them. And your negativity bias is what, in hunter-gatherer days, protected you from all the things that were going to kill you, right? Other tribes, wolves, that berry is going to kill me if I eat it, disease, things like that. I had to be cautious of everything because life was just so dangerous. So we created this negativity bias to help us defend us, right? And in our society now, only thinking about the negative doesn't really help you out. Who out there has that friend that no matter what is going on, they have to bring up negative stuff? No one likes that person, right? No one likes being that person. You can ask them, they don't like being that negative. But that negativity bias is so strong in them that that's what they see all the time. So the way we combat that is we hunt for good things in our lives. So what you want to do is, usually I do it before I go to bed because it helps you sleep. It makes you feel gratitude, which is the best feeling to have to help you go to bed. So for my insomniacs out there, hunting the good stuff right before you go to bed is definitely going to help you get some more sleep. Maybe you want to sleep on it and then do it first thing in the morning. Whenever, just make yourself time to do it. It doesn't take very long. All right. And the way you do it is you think of 3 good things that happen to you throughout the day. You want to think about why that thing is good to you, how you affect that thing, how others affect that thing, and how you can keep that good thing going. All right. And why these 3 are important is the first one, why is it good to you? I don't know about everybody else. I'm 34 years old and I still don't know everything about me. So it's important when I snap judgment, think about something that's good for me, I think about why. Because that's going to tell me a lot about who I am. And your good thing doesn't have to be something crazy altruistic. It doesn't have to be some wonderful thing. It can be simply, I ate a Popeye's chicken sandwich today, or I had some chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A today and they were delicious. It can be something that small, or it can be big. It can be like, me and my mom have been fighting lately and we got along really well tonight. It can be big or small, right? And it just tells you more about what you care about in life and what you actually love and makes you who you are, right? And then the next one is how you impact that thing and how others impact that thing. Well, that's going to show you how you make good things happen for you, right, throughout your days. And it's also going to show you who impacts your day in a positive way, who gives you joy, who gives you happiness in your life, right? So if you take this and you do a journal of it for a couple weeks, and maybe your bestie isn't in there, maybe you guys need to have a talk about your relationship, right? Or maybe you need to think about, maybe there's someone you don't appreciate that much, but that is doing a lot to make you happy and give you joy in your life. And that way you can be like, hey, you really do give me a lot of happiness, and you can appreciate them, right? Makes you feel gratitude, which is one of the emotions we're trying to feel right now. And then it can also tell you if you're doing enough to make you happy, right? Because the bottom line is no one's more responsible for your happiness than you are. And then the third thing, how can I keep this good thing going? Pretty self-explanatory. I want to create winning streaks, right? I want to be able to repeat these things that make me happy over and over again. And if I'm not thinking about how I get there, then it's going to be really hard for me to do, all right? And so it usually takes a couple minutes. I have a journal that I write in that helps me memorize it, because you're going to have days where less good stuff happens to you. Maybe you can only think of 1 or 2. And you're going to have really good days where 10 good things happen to you. So that way, when you're going through those rough patches, you can look back on your journal and see all the things that you need to be grateful for and that are self-satisfying and stuff like that, right? So that's how you do hunt the good stuff. If you take nothing else from this, I hope you take hunt the good stuff. You go get out there, you find your positivity, you find your way forward. And you know what? At the end of the day, we're going to make it through whatever's going on right now. And we do it by doing it together, looking for those positive things, bouncing back from the adversity in our life together, and moving forward. Thanks.